Once again, welcome you all to our webinar session, The Impact of Digitization of Education and Promotion of Intercultural Dialogue in the Eurasian region. Thank you, Dr. Nabil, to accept our invitation to be with us today. And today marks an important moment that we gather here to delve into this topic. So we aim to explore, discuss, and learn from our esteemed speaker, Dr. Nabil, regarding the topic. Yeah, please, here the floor is yours. Maybe Miss Aisha, she wants to add some few more words also. That later on we can again give the floor to Dr. Nabil.
I am not going to try and introduce Dr. Nabil to you because he has a vast array of experience in the higher education sector and in different countries as well, and in different senior academic leadership positions as well. So before we begin, Dr. Nabil, could you just introduce yourself in that sense, your expertise, your experience in our region, in the higher education sector. So it's better to hear it from you, actually. So before we begin, let's get to know you a little bit.
Thank you. It's a pleasure mine to be with you again, and thank you for extending such an invitation to me. Well, I would say I'm first of all a passionate educator because I believe education is a passion before being a job or a role that you play. My professional experience allowed me to work in different countries in higher education in Europe, in North Africa, in Asia, in the GCC country, the Gulf countries, so the UAE, Bahrain, Oman. I had several visits to Turkey also. I've been working with French institutions, English one and others. So I'm happy to have this multicultural background, which allow me to see the differences. In terms of technical background, I'm a cybersecurity guy, but a passionate of education, and I've been assuming various roles, whether as educator first or as vice president or president of various universities in the region. Thank you.
So the floor is yours for your presentation, and then hopefully we'll have some questions at the end of your presentation as well for our audience to ask any questions for you. We should have a little time for that.
Sure. Thank you very much, Aze. So it's a great pleasure for me to be with you. As I said, I'm a passionate of education, and I believe education has no frontier, and education is the basic glue of humanity, you know, the same as a sport. It's something that everyone agree on. Everyone is trying to achieve the same goal through education, regardless of the region of the world we are into. And I believe the latest pandemic showed us that the educational world is facing the same challenges everywhere. And the pandemic put also everyone on a kind of equality, because we are facing the same challenge, no matter if we were a big university, small university, an old one, a new one. We had to accommodate, and we have to find a way to communicate with different cultural background in a more smarter way. So when we speak about interconnectivity and interconnection and multicultural, it's a little bit like this screen you are seeing about in front of you. You have a lot of diversities. You have diversity in ethnics, diversities in beliefs, diversity in geographies, diversity in language, diversity in challenges, diversity in needs, diversity in resources, diversity in understanding, diversity in practice, diversity in culture. And we believe, and I do believe, that education is a kind of cross element through all this diversity. And education is helping us, especially with the digitalization, in making this world not as you see it, small pieces, but as heterogeneous world together. Because not only the education is the glue, but the digitalization and the use of digital tools allow us to dilute barrier and allow us to go in a better way of understanding each other and communication with each other. So let us agree on some minor definition together. Let me just move this down. When we speak about intercultural dialogue, we are looking to a process of exchange, that can be between individual or between organizations with opening and different views. And these exchanges need to work together towards an inclusive society. As long as we go for an exchange, we need to start with exchange with a basic element, equity, between all the participants. And this dialogue is, in fact, a powerful instrument for negotiation and for understanding. And education is nothing than being able to share information, to let it reach the other side with the same understanding. And in order to assure this intercultural dialogue, we need to go usually in critical and constructive engagement. And if you look today to any quality assurance agency and any ranking body, among the things we focus on is being sure that our students are having a critical thinking. Critical thinking, we should not define it just as the ability to solve problems, but it's also the ability to go into an intercultural dialogue, to be able to have a deep understanding of diverse worldviews. When we try to do that in a classical environment, we have a lot of barriers. Distance is a barrier. Language is a barrier. Connectivity is a barrier. Availability is a barrier, right? All those barriers have been solved or eradicated one by one through various digital tools. And I will show you some examples of how the education of tomorrow will be, which is in fact assuring that we will work more toward an intercultural dialogue with mutual respect, with appropriate critical thinking, and with facilitating the fact that all those barriers are not existing anymore. So added to that, let's agree also, what do we mean by culture and education? The culture is more or less your part of identity, you know? It fosters your identity and your creativity. Your culture is all the background you have been accumulating together, that when you meet someone and you see a smile, you look to it positive or you look to it negative. And let's take a very simple example, colors. What white means for some is not what it means for others. White in many countries in Europe is a color of happiness, right? Is a color of celebration, is a color of joy. But white in China is a color for death, for sadness, you know? So this is what culture means. There are a kind of differences that we need to understand and that we need to take in consideration when we are discussing with others in order to support transmitting knowledge in a positive way with all the respect of the culture. As I have been teaching in different countries, France, for example, North Africa, Tunisia, and Bahrain, when you want to speak a certain concept, you need to take in consideration the cultural elements. Now, this leads, if you have a content, for example, of a course, that you need to customize it every time you need to present it in a different group of students, right? That customization in an internationalization concept might be heavy for the teacher to use. You have to choose your language, choose some words, eliminate some, add some, address yourself in a different way, and so on. Technology, digitalization is there to help you. I'm sure you are aware that you have tools today that allow you from a simple script to generate voice in any language you want, right? So you can have one single slide with maybe pictogramma, animation, representation of the knowledge you want to, and then the AI tool will generate it respecting any culture and any language for you. That's the beauty of facilitating multicultural connection in an area of the world when you have a lot of differentiation. So that dialogue need to go in a positive way, need to go with a reciprocal interaction between the various parties. And we need to find a way that we engage everyone positively, and we need to leverage technology in a way that will allow us to facilitate that dialogue and to allow us, in fact, to go together in a collaborative principle and to go together in a cooperation. Again, and if I pick an example of research activities and we see how digitalization allowed researchers around the world, again, during the pandemic, to work on the same problem. They have different language, they have different equipment, they have different practice. However, because of the interconnectivity, because of a metaverse that was made available there, all the efforts were there. Is there a better dialogue than joining the efforts of everyone for a common interest, putting aside any barrier, any differences, any deviation in beliefs? That's what technology and digitalization of education is allowing us to do today, is saying, look, there is a different way of communicating where we have to overpass those complexities and those limitations by relying on the digitalization. And when we speak about the digitalization, there are various formats of digitalization. I'm not looking to my time, so I will try to stick to the 45 minutes, but there are different forms of digitalization. There are what I call the minimal requirement, which is something you need to use technology because without it, you don't reach the minimal level of the results you want to reach to. And that's the minimal things we need. We need a phone because we want to speak to each other. I think today, if you leave home and you forgot your watch, you don't worry. But if you leave home and you forgot your iPhone Lite, your touchy phone, I'm sure 99% of us will run back to get back the phone. Why? Because we believe that's today the minimal level of technology we need to communicate and to have a dialogue, right? You are sure you need to have your WhatsApp, you need to have your social media channel, etc. So when we use technology and digitalization, there are two levels. The minimal level, which is the minimal level that the consumer would ask for. And that minimal level from 1 year to another, from one period to another, from one destiny to another, is changing, is increasing. Before we use the phone, we need the phone just to talk, just to deal a number in case of emergency. Today, your phone is a smartphone, is a mini computer with you. So your level of minimal digitalization to allow appropriate intercommunication and dialogue with all the variety increased and made what used to be 10 years ago a luxury element as a compulsory element. Of course, when we move to some part of the world, we're still using a very basic phones with SMS only, with text only, but we are developing application for communication that more or less meet the level of services offered by other communication. Now, that's the minimal level of technology, but there is the highest level when we can leverage together on using, for example, metaverse in a classroom in order to respect all the cultural diversities. And I will show an example. I'm the same teacher, I'm teaching my class, I'm wearing what I'm wearing now, but if a student from Saudi Arabia will enter the classroom, he will see an avatar of me respecting his culture. And if a student from China will join my class, he will see an avatar respecting his culture. And his colleagues in the class is represented to him with people from his culture. It's not to give him the impression that he's isolated. Opposite is to give him the impression, not the impression, the feeling that his cultural barriers are respected. His cultural particularities are respected. And at the beginning, that might encourage people to discuss and to dialogue together. So we are diluting those elements. So the education today is changing, and the requirement of education is changing because we have a new equilibrium in the 21st century skills requirement, where the soft skills are almost balancing the hard skills or the core skills that we want to give to our students. So with that, we are using disruptive innovation technologies. And among the soft skills, usually teamwork, work with diversity, communication skills, possibilities of integration, motivation, and hope. Without putting a context, we say capability to work in a team. We do not show capability to work in a heterogeneous team or homogeneous team. It means a team with a big T. So you're gonna work tomorrow with people from different cultural background, with different beliefs, with different way of functioning. And you need, as a student of today, to be able to work efficiently. You need to communicate efficiently. Language might be a barrier. So you need to be able to use AI tools that will help you in live translation. The live translation means my speech today, people from Turkey might hear it in Turkey. People from Israel might hear it in Jewish. People from German might hear it on the same time in live in German. And that is cultivating more the possibilities of intercommunication. Okay. So in fact, these come also through the fact that in education, we are all aiming to reach the same competencies. And the fact that worldwide, the 21st century competencies are the same, no matter where you are. The scale of importance might be varying from one to another, but they are the same. And look here, one among the most important is the human AI integration and mediation. How we can assure an appropriate equilibrium between a social communication and between the use of AI. The storytelling, which is the way we're gonna communicate with other and the way we're gonna discuss with other, is also becoming today one of the most required elements in the equilibrium between soft skills and core skills. And in any society, being able to understand, to comprehend what is the digital society, what are the limits, what are the barriers, what are the added value of a digital society in assuring an intercommunication and in assuring a dialogue in a large area like the Eurasia is very important. News used to be diffused very lately. Today, when something is happening, on 10 seconds, everyone is aware about it. Reactions are happening in different languages, different way, and that encourage also the way of communication. And when it comes to the teaching itself, we have no more barrier on where to teach and when to teach. And that's because of the beauty of use of digital solutions. Today, if I have a course, I'm not obliged to deliver my course in a campus. I'm delivering my course in an Eduverse, in a virtual classroom. And I will show you an example. That virtual classroom can respect, in fact, the particularities of everyone. And we go more and more in outside the university's education. What does it mean? We can have the theoretical classroom in an Eduverse. We agree on it. And then on the application, every attendees from each part of the world will go and apply it in its environment and in its context, in its city, in its village, in its nation, and get the feedback and share it again within this dimension. If we do not have digital tools that allow this cooperative educational manner, if we do not have digital tools that allow us, in fact, to allow students to join the course anytime they want, this level of integration and this level of integration will not be possible and will not be easy to see. Let's have a look on what is an Eduverse and how an Eduverse look. I hope that the setting will allow sharing the video. Anyway, it's coming through my screen, but I'm not sure if the voice will be audible or not. Let's try that.
Can you unmute yourself, Dr. Nabil? Now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there we go. We watched the video. We didn't hear it, but we could see it.
Video, which basically show us a tool that is existing today that allow students from variety of countries and from variety of culture to interact together, to work in an environment. The avatars can be customized. The presentation that the teachers can do are on live translated using AI tools. And that is, in fact, one of the most important inputs or impact of the use of digitalization and AI in education in order to foster more this collaboration. Another thing, because of the tools of education today, we changed the way we are teaching from a passive learning to an active learning. And when we say we go to an active learning, we go more to a student-centered approach. And in a student-centered approach, it's also offering the possibility to any learner from the world to express himself the way he wants to. We're no anymore having that barrier that we are obliging you to do something in a certain way. Opposite, we are giving you more flexibility and we are giving you more opportunities. Another change in the education, because of the digitalization and because of the diversity of mode, the way we teach and is changing today. We have people coming with different background, people maybe who, because of any circumstances, were not able to go to high school, were not able to go to universities. Still, they have competencies, they have prior learning, they have been able to have some online credentials, and we are merging today in a competencies on which we are having a kind of Uberized education. And when we say Uberized education is, we respect your demand, we respect your diversity, and we allow you to engage with all the other without having any barrier or any pre-decisions on the way you should do things. And technology and AI, if you look to it today, is not only in the delivery mode and is helping us in assuring equitable communication and dialogue in all the steps of the education, from the screening and the selection, which is today becoming automated. So when it's automated, any possibility of human judgment due to any ethnic background or any regional background or whatsoever does not appear anymore. So the dialogue is more smooth, the criteria of selections are more equitable in that. And of course, it goes through the course delivery, through the feedback, giving a personalized feedback. Some students, again, because of some cultural aspects, need more assistance to the other. Some students, opposite, need more freedom than another. And as a teacher, it's a little bit complicated, almost impossible to give a personalized feedback in which you consider all those elements. Automated tools that will address a profile of a student, and this is very important in a context of internationalization. When we receive students from different backgrounds, and we might think that we are doing the best for them, but we cannot take all the parameters. So AI tools allow you to address a profile, not only an academic profile, but a social profile and also a personal profile of your student. Is the student shy? Is the student extravagant? Is the student X, Y, Z? And based on that, the feedback and the way to give the feedback will be customized to fit the personality of the student, which will encourage the students to be more communicative, to engage more in session, whether with colleagues or whether with educator. That's what will lead to an inclusive, equitable society that will impact the quality of education, and society here with a big S, meaning at a worldwide level, where we are again engaging in a positive dialogue, using the digitalization and the digital tools in order to allow us, to be able to give an intelligent tutoring system and give a way on which we are accepting our student in a transparent way. We are also offering them a personalized feedback, and we are offering them a personalized education. I'll not go through this high fidelity simulator. As I said, the automation of feedback and the customization of feedback is very important today, and a lot of tools are being used in education in order to allow that, not only on the term of performance, but also on the term of the language used for the feedback, the format of the feedback, the tone on the kind of tone used in the communication. Today, I'm sure you are a user of ChatGPT. You can write an email, and before sending your email, you drop it to ChatGPT and you say, make it more strong, make it more nice, make it acceptable or positively seen by Chinese, by European, by African, by South African, considering their cultural dimension. That's something very difficult for me and for you to do as a human. But again, digitalization and technologies are there today to help us doing the same. Let's have a look to this video very rapidly also. So as you have seen, this is allow us again to go beyond the limitation and to be able to answer the needs, because who are we teaching today and who are we speaking to? It's a new generation that have different needs. It's a Z generation. They are more genius. They might have people with special need. We might have senior aged people. We might have returning students. In fact, the student of tomorrow we're gonna speak to is not your teammate, is not only your neighbor, is Mr. Everyone. So the digitalization is allowing us to address the need of the student of the future, crossing any barrier of language, of culture, of ethnicity, of religion, or any. The students we have to answer to demand is the student of the future, which is described by this last video I want to share with you. I think the last statement said it all, said it very well. Equity, diversity, and we need to keep in mind that we remain at the end a human. We are working towards the same goals, the SDGs that we want all to assure cannot be achieved without a multicultural dialogue, without relying on technology, but keeping in mind that in all cases, we remain human. So using technology in a wise way to elucidate any barrier, to make our engagement and our social life and our multicultural interaction, respect and understanding in a better way. That's the key of the positive and measured way of use of digital and technology. Thank you very much.
It was really impressive. Like, you know, I was really so much into the presentation. Really, thank you, Dr. Nabil. But just can I say that is like as the there is some key aspects that which I was while you were making your presentation, I was making a note that there was some several key aspects regarding the cultural understanding, global connectivity, conflict resolution and tolerance, like the cultural heritage, the globalized society, and promotion of inclusivity. This is all that what we need for the digitization in and education intercultural dialogue while doing this. Can we say that, Dr. Nabil?
Absolutely, I fully agree. If I take a simple example of a metaverse solution that you want to use for a school, for example, in that solution, you're going to have avatars, right? If your avatars are not inclusive of all the cultural level, with all respect, you're not contributing to this interconnectivity positively. You're going to impose a couple of things on other people. So it's going to lead to a rejection instead of leading to a positive acceptance. So yes, I fully agree with you that those human concepts need to be transferred in the digital world. And again, the last video was saying that this digital environment is coming with a lot of things, but it comes also with some dangers. The danger of the privacy, the danger of the ethic use. Today, there is a lot of international effort on ethical AI practices, especially in education, especially in human relation. Because as I said at the end, we need to remember we are at the end human. So we should not be guided by technology. We should guide technology to our use. And the 5 principles you mentioned are the key factor of a positive, engaging, success use of technology.
Exactly. Miss Aisha, do you have any question? Because in the question and the answer section, we have a one question. Maybe you both can answer that. What role do online learning platforms and digital tools play in breaking down cultural barriers and promoting the cross-cultural communication with the educational landscape of the Eurasian region?
Yeah, this is a very interesting question, and I would say it has 2 aspects. First, just for having an online platform on which we can upload variety of content that come from variety of people, variety of universities, that content itself, which is produced by human at the beginning, is including a part of your culture. So putting it on an online platform and allowing people from everywhere to see it will allow to share your culture, to let people discover it, to let maybe some taboo and misunderstanding disappear. That's element number 1. Secondly, when that digital platform is available, it's available for everyone, anytime, anywhere of the world. So it will open the connectivity for you and open your door. But the danger is how you prepare the content that you're gonna put inside. And that's the second dimension. You can prepare a content and online, and you did it only for a specific part of the world or for a specific cultural environment. And that might lead to a negative and opposite way of needing. Let's assume the following. I do a course. It's one among the rare courses that everyone wanna see, but I upload my video only in Arabic, and I don't allow any AI tool to get the voice and translate it. What I'm doing here is opposite of what I want to reach. You see what I mean? So, yep, the online platform, if used wisely, with keeping in mind the dimension of openness to multicultural, will help the Eurasian to do, will help to discover, to elucidate the barrier, because anytime, anywhere, you can access a content come from a different part of the world. You can discover a different culture if it has been made open to everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I am, if I'm allowed, just a few minutes. Yes, I would like to express, first of all, my gratitude in sharing your expertise in this area. Also, I got like really interesting notions about the future of higher education. But in a way, it may be a little alarming for us in the higher education sector, because you are talking obviously about, the students will be very diverse, they will be lifelong learners, etc. And the technology is changing so quickly. So the traditional model of having sort of university degrees, 3 years, 4 years, bachelor degrees, sort of doesn't make sense so much, because it was also in your presentation, the micro credentials. You can have your prior learning, your work experience, taken into account. You can do micro credentials, get upscaling as you are working, etc. So I think the university should be really more flexible and agile, and it should be maybe not think about, having a campus, having a certain group of students, educating them for 3 or 4 years, and then saying goodbye, and that's the end, except maybe a few alumni meet and greet events. I think the university has to be touching the lives of potential learners anywhere, and, be a different kind of university, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, the 3 or 4 paths of education, which is the regular education, the micro-credential, the certifications, are today converging to one unique path, which require those 3 paths to speak to each other, to recognize each other. Still, the university will continue to play a major role. For what? Because even if I put the courses on, the concept of flipped class, I give you things, you read, you see. We are here to discuss, to have that human interaction, to focus more, not on giving you the knowledge, but on giving you why it should be implemented this way and not that way. And then you bring your experience that you got from the market, because you did not have money. You had to work when you was very young, a kid, and you bring that experience and it enrich the discussion. So I think there is a metamorphosation happening. There is a change happening on the role of university. The very classical model of taking people after the secondary school, and as you said, you are alumni, then goodbye, and maybe you come for a dinner or you come. It does not work anymore. And I think even we see the students today, they're on demand in different things. I can tell you, since 3-4 years, I don't run a single lecture without the video or an interactivity. Because very simply, see your kids, if you give them a movie, if you give them a TikTok, they're going to spend 2 hours of it. Give them a book, they got fed up after 5 minutes, right? So it's a way to say the world is changing. We need to take that in our advantage, keeping in mind that we are a human and we are faced to different needs. And that's what multicultural discussion and dialogue is all about. We come from different parts, we have different culture, we have different needs. We need to engage in a tolerant, positive discussion in order to use technology in a positive way to serve us all.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That was really nice. So in overall, the impact of digitation is on education and promoting the intercultural dialogue in the Eurasian region is curricular for the fostering understanding, cooperation, and respect among diverse cultures, contributing to a more intercontinental and harmonious society. Let's say like this, as I understood.
Absolutely. With the big word, ethics. I would like to put the word ethics and double underline, because using the digitalization without ethics, which come from a human aspect. You can never, whatever you try, you know that the new AI algorithms are equipped with some filters, you know, that try to identify non-ethical aspects and whatever, but still, ethics remain a human feeling before anything. And no matter what we do, it cannot be an automated AI reaction. So we need to make sure that all the digitalization to serve the Eurasian inter-dialogue and connection, we keep in mind that we are human, we have ethical value, and we need to make sure we embed that in all the digital tools we are using.
I think that this topic is that much big and like so deeply that we need to maybe do the next like not a webinar, but something like Euras Academy, Ms. Aisha. What do you think about it? Maybe it can be not online, by face-to-face, if Dr. Nabil will be able to come for the Euras upcoming Euras Academies, or because I really enjoyed, and really, it was really productive for me as well, because the slides and the presentation and that what he gave already, even without noise, let me say that it was that much impressive, that I want to go into that deeply in this topic. Ms. Aisha?
Yes, the ethical considerations here are, I think, where we can end the conversation, because I think we all agree on the potential, the opportunities of using these technological tools to our advantage. But then, how can we manage the negative sides and minimize them? And maybe the question is like, who is going to decide and enforce the ethical standards? So maybe that's the topic, as Sabina said, of future events where we can talk about this. Are there some organizations that are, in a position to help, us determine these standards and uphold these standards? So that's a very complicated issue. I'm sure, Dr. Nabil, if you want to say a few closing remarks on that issue, and then we'll leave the rest to the next event.
Yes, thank you very much. And it will be a great pleasure for me to come and meet you again and discuss this issue. Well, the ethics in the digitalization and in the metaverse and in the AI is a big topic, and there is already a lot of initiatives worldwide. There is a European body who is looking to the ethical application of AI. Asia is also having some initiatives. There are a couple of books, couple of publications. The United Nations also published a list of guidelines about the ethical use of AI, but it's not an easy question to say who should do what. Should it be governmental? Should it be a consortium of a provider of solution? What is the role of the user and what is the voice of the user? It's really a very complicated issue, as big and as of the digitalization world or the digital world today. But there is a lot of efforts, there is a lot of bodies who are starting a lot of initiatives, but we did not reach yet standards on that, like in security in a certain moment, how we can trust a website or not after we have a certification. So there is a work toward getting a certification of ethical AI application. We are heading toward that, but I think we are still having a couple of miles to do to reach that level yet.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again. Ms. Aisha, would you love to say something, or that we have to?
I'm okay. I don't have anything to add, except to thank Dr. Nabil again for sharing his expertise with us, and hope to see you on other occasions as well.
With pleasure. I think there is a hand maybe from Zafar, please.
Yeah, that our vice rector, she's the vice rector of Istanbul University. She would love to add. I think that's something that,
sure.
Ms. Zafar, you please.
Thank you very much for this organization and invitation, Dr. Nabil. Unfortunately, I followed the last part. I'm so sorry for missing the very important parts because of another issues. So regarding with the digitalization and also visualization, You know, the both of them are very important in our recent studies, research and training programs. Probably you had already mentioned about the very new application in our university, which is related with the inverse process, which is related with the flipboard training. You know, it is great projects, small projects, but I think the idea is really great. We have some, you know, selection to work together with the young generation, university students, and together with the lecturers. As you know, the lecturers, they have a great experience in theoretical parts, but the utilization of the new technologies and digitalizations are a little bit difficult for our age group, let's say. And then, so this is why they have the joint program with the young colleagues in a selected areas, and they have their theory sharing with them, and they have their practice, I mean the young group students, to share with them. So we will see what's going on at the end. It's a very newly established stage. So just I would like to share it with you regarding with the Professor Nigar Hoca, who is the advisor of our president and the rectorship position. And so it was really nice. So we will see probably later on, we will share the outputs of these small projects.
Sure, that this looks amazing, and I'm very curious to see how it's working. And I would like to thank you and congratulate you for such initiatives. And you are addressing one of the aspects, you know, the digital literacy, and we know that some people are facing difficulty. Unfortunately, young people assume that everyone is very familiar with the click, you know, but it's not the case. And there is no blame, no shame on anyone, and I believe this is one of the very particular initiatives in its nature. So I'm very pleased to hear about this.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks indeed.
Again, thank you to everyone. Thank you for our guests. Thank you to our esteemed Dr. Nabil and Ms. Aisha for such a nice connection with Dr. Nabil. From now on, I think that we will keep in touch always. Thank you again. It was really nice to meet you.
With a great pleasure, Sabina and Aisha. And again, I would be very happy to support in upcoming event. And I hope to see you soon in Aydın University. I had a chance to visit you many years ago. So
Yeah.
I hope that another opportunity will come, and with great pleasure. I'm very grateful for you for this opportunity, and my apologies if the video voice was not shared for some technical issues that were, you know, maybe altering a little bit the quality of this, but I will share with you the links of the videos and the presentation by email.
Thank you so much. Thank you again. Thank you all. See you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.